So parenting is definitely a skill that has largely been taken for granted, but the Gender, Children and Social Protection Ministry is hoping that will change with the launch of a child and family welfare policy, which will, among others, help school parents about how to take better care of themselves. And that's just what you saw with the gender minister right there. The revised policy documents, according to the minister, will also enhance child protection with sanctions for those who neglect and abuse children. And that's definitely in line with what we are discussing here on my banner. Last week, if you remember, we talked about the adolescents, but our concentration really was on those with disabilities. Today, our focus is on the adolescents and, you know, the things that they tend to do that when we take our eyes off them, it will be a whole different story altogether. And we're zeroing in the Greater Accra region today. Amazing statistics you hear. How about the fact that 7,000 young people, and I'm talking about girls, and the maximum age, if you like, is 20. So 20 and below got pregnant in the year 2014 alone. How about a statistic like that? If you have challenges with your adolescent child, this is a conversation that you definitely want to tune into and stay with us, because I'll be opening the phone lines so you can call us and let's see how best my guest can help you. But let me introduce her to you. She's Dr. Linda Van Rotu, the Greater Accra Director of the Ghana Health Service. Doc, good morning and thank you for your time.
Good morning, my pleasure.
So let's talk about this 7,000 young girls getting pregnant in 2014 alone. We've been talking pregnancy, and I've discussed this matter before, except that my concentration was on those in school. But this time around, it's across. What is wrong with our young girls today?
Well, good morning, and good morning to all our viewers and listeners. It is indeed a concern that young girls between the ages of 10 years to 19 also get pregnant. There are several reasons why they get pregnant. If you look at a 10-year-old becoming pregnant, then you understand that probably she doesn't even understand what menstruation is all about. Some people menstruate quite early and others do not. And once a girl has become pregnant, it means that she started menstruating, she started ovulating. So they need to understand what it is all about. Sometimes people also have, well, interpretations as to what would happen to you if you do not have sex as a young girl. Again, there are friends that they walk with. There are movies that they watch. And let's remember that at that stage in your life, in your development, it is the time that you are growing, is the time that the body is also responding to natural things. So as a young girl with your breast coming up, if somebody touches your breast, you will feel that sensation. And as you also go through life, especially when you're ovulating, you realize that the body would be calling for sex, because then the body is preparing to receive a baby if there should be one. So emotionally and physiologically, that means that the natural process of things, that is happening. And there are so many things around us that help the young girl to also respond. There are also the issues to do with need. At that stage, people like fashion. People see their friends wearing something, wearing a kind of shoes that they are also looking for. These pairs of shoes are very beautiful. I wish I could have one. Now, when you look at our family system, you realize that things have changed. Our cultural things have changed. Our moral things have changed. So there are so many reasons why this happens. And unfortunately, a lot of young girls who are not married get themselves involved and become pregnant. And we in the health sector try very hard to get to all of them. So if you go to our facilities, you realize that we can even run separate clinics for them, those who are pregnant. It is not because we are endorsing it, but it's because of the effect of the pregnancy on the young girl and even on the baby and also on the family. So we try as much as possible to support them to go through. So it is not that we are just running a clinic for them so that people become pregnant and can no. But we do what we have to do because of the health effects of pregnancy in such young people. So this is what we recorded in our health facilities. But remember that some of them might have gone to some other places or may not have gone anywhere at all. So that is it. And they need family support when they are pregnant. So if you don't have that support, you may not even come to us.
But let's also touch on the fact that not all these girls would survive the pregnancy because sometimes they are too young, their bodies cannot contain what they are carrying. So some of them end up losing their lives in the process.
Unfortunately, yes. When we look through our statistics, we look at the mothers, unfortunately, who died as a result of pregnancy and pregnancy-related complications. We have some of them between the ages of 10 and 19. So, for example, we can have about 40 of them dying, and that's quite a huge number. And at that age, one should not be dying from pregnancy-related complications.
One shouldn't even be pregnant.
Yes, that is it. And you see, pregnancy has its complications, especially for those who are very young and those who are quite grown, over 35 years, getting to 40 and all that. And these people can develop what we call pregnancy-induced hypertension. The body itself, that is a child, you know, so that pregnancy is already a stress on this girl, and then the complications that can set in can lead to death. And as I said, some of them, they disappoint their family so much when they become pregnant that if you are not careful, then the care that is needed is not given. So they may not even support them to go for the antenatal clinic. And therefore, they may not have all that they need to get to help them to deliver well, you know. So they end up doing that. Or they come very late. Some of them, when they get into labor, they may be kept for some time because the family may not be very close to a facility, or they may not even have what it takes to send this girl to the hospital, or because they're already angry or disappointed, they may not give that kind of support. So some of them, unfortunately, would come in and die. And because they are so young, you realize that they may also not be nutritionally well. So they may have anemia before they even became pregnant. And when the care is also not very good, by the time they're about to deliver, they are still anemic, and the little bleeding can even tip them off. So there are so many reasons why these people have a challenge. And it is not just the girl, but the baby as well. These babies have a higher chance of dying than if the child was delivered by somebody who was more than 20 years old.
You know, I think one of the questions that people perhaps will be asking is where were parents of these young people who got pregnant? I don't know how much of that information you would know. Where are we? Where are parents when their young children are getting pregnant, really?
That's a big question. And that is why I believe that what was launched yesterday is very important. Because we realized that at that age, if this child had the parents at home talking to her, teaching her life, she may not get pregnant. Unfortunately for us, we are very, very busy as parents. We are moving out of the house very early in the morning. We are coming home very late. We are always going to one place or the other. And therefore, we are neglecting that side of our duty as parents. To know what our children are doing, to know what kind of things they are learning from their friends. And because they work together, they learn a lot of things from their friends. So if the mother is not there, if the father is not there, she will learn from a friend. And it may even be a boy who is teaching her some of these things, you know. So the parents may not even realize that there is a change in my child, that this girl who was like this has now changed, or she has even brought home something that I did not buy for her, and therefore I need to know where she got it from. So we are not keeping our eyes on them as we
But isn't it also very challenging raising adolescents? It's very difficult. Not every parent can handle that.
That is very true. Because you see, at that stage, we see them as children. They see themselves as adults because now they are moving from being children to adolescents. And that transition is very important. They see things differently from the way we see things. The way they want to dress is not like what we would want them to dress. For example, if you go and buy a pair of pants for your son now, who is a certain age, you may buy one that has a big, you know, but he may want the one that is very slim. Or if you buy a dress for your young girl, you may buy one that goes below the knee. She may want to buy one that is above the knee. So that transition is very, very, very important. And that is where we need to be friends with them. We need to understand what they are going through. There are emotional things they go through, and we may not know. Maybe somebody has even said something about her head being big, or that her breasts are big, or that she's too fat or something. She may be going through some emotional things we may not know. So the adolescent period is very, very, very important for us as parents to be friends with our young people, and we also have to understand what they are going through for us to talk to them.
Some people say that for a young girl who is growing up, the best person to raise that child would be a woman, because it's only the mother who has gone through it who knows how to raise somebody like that. Is it true? Do you still need both parents to do that?
We need both parents. We need both parents because men are different somehow from women. What you would tell your young girl is probably the home things, you know, how to cook. And now, unfortunately, some people don't even know how to cook because they are not learning. And also, we are not teaching them. We can always buy what they call the check or the fried rice and chicken. If you were a woman raising a young girl, one of the things that would happen is that where is the father? If the father is around, that is a different issue. If the father is not around and is somebody who probably left you when you were pregnant or has moved away and left you with the children, if you are not careful, the mother or this woman would not just teach this child about the good things but the bad things in men. And some of the girls use that as an excuse to revenge. And some of the people who have even unfortunately become commercial sex workers, if you talk to, that is what happened. So they take it out as a revenge, and that is not good enough. So we need the father at home also, because the father will now teach this girl, or the child may even be looking at the father and learning things that men do, which he may not open his mouth to say, but then she would know. And if the mother is very close to the husband, then she would also know how to relate to a husband, so that when she also gets married, she would know. Again, the other thing is that once the father is at home, she would now know that as a young lady, I need to get married. I need to stay with a man at home who is my husband. So she will learn all these values. And you know, the fathers are the heads of the family, and they can discipline us. So through that, she may also have that discipline, and then she will know how to handle herself when she's in the presence of men.
One of the very challenging issues is the matter of sex. How do you talk about sex with your adolescents? But also the issue of, can I trust my adolescents with sex? And we're talking about this, but I also want to activate the phone line so that you can join us on 0302-211-6910, 0302-211-69102. So we're talking about, can you trust your adolescents with the subject sex?
I believe you can. I believe that if you teach somebody, the person gains knowledge. You are not going to teach that girl or that young boy, your son, that when you get a woman and dress her and do that. No. We are teaching them about what sex can do to you and the place of sex, because it is something that will happen one day. But the time that it should happen is very important. So if you let your child know that, look, sex is for grown-ups, it is for people who are married. First of all, you can use that to become pregnant, but it is not just about pregnancy. It is a relationship between two people. You are teaching this child. That child will now not need to go and learn from a friend who will tell them that, no, you have sex when somebody says, I love you. If that happens, then she can jump into bed with many people before she realizes that this is not what I'm supposed to do. And the parent did not tell her that you have sex with somebody who has married you, or as a young boy, you have sex with somebody that you have married. And within that context, you are not afraid of getting any infection. And remember that once you are not married, even those who are married, what do we see? So once you are not married, you are anybody's game. So the girl can be sleeping with other people, the boy can be sleeping with other girls. So it is very important that we discuss it and teach our children.
Okay. When we come back, because I'm going to take just a short break. When we come back, you are a doctor. We say, I've heard people, and I've discussed this on this show, but I really want to hear from you. Should you start talking family planning with your children? Because we're getting between the ages of 10 and 19 getting pregnant. How do you... I don't know. So stay with us. We'll get the answers. And then you can start calling us. You're watching the AM show. This is my banner. We're talking the adolescents' health, or child, if you like. And we're also discussing some very horrifying statistics in the Greater Accra region. We're joined by Dr. Saka. You remember him. We talked about the adolescents, but that was not in general. We were talking about those with some disabilities. Well, today we're discussing the whole issue. Dr. Saka is a lecturer. He also joins us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for your time. Okay, so you can also join us with your questions and your comments. We would love to hear from you, and I want my guests to help you out with whatever challenge that you have with your adolescents on 0302-211-69102, 0302-211-69102, and you can call now. So, Dr. Linda Vanutu, I was asking about family planning. Family planning. Some people say, yeah, I mean, once they're sexually active, let them know about it. What do you say?
Well, as a health provider and also as a parent, I believe that it is important when you are discussing sexual and reproductive health to talk about family planning. It doesn't mean that you are condoning family planning. There are people who are not in school. There are people who even at that age are also married. You know, there are people who get married very early. And therefore, we need to add that to make it complete, that we are talking about sexual and reproductive health. There are some of the people who believe that, well, once the adolescent is sexually active, introduce him or her to the family planning. I believe that we need to start talking to them about family planning as we talk about sexual and reproductive health, but let them know its place. And also let them know that there are some side effects with them. So let them know, so that nobody will tell them the untruth. Because if you as a parent, you know and you don't tell your child, or we as health providers, we don't educate them about what family planning is or contraception is, then their friends will tell them and they will introduce them to it. They may even use all sorts of things which are not good. Some of them may even use things that are unorthodox, and anything can happen to them. So I think that the education should also mention family planning as we as health providers talk to the adolescents.
Dr. Saka, I don't know what you teach, but would you talk to your student, for instance, about family planning? How much information would you give them?
I will do that, but within a broader context of the whole prevention methods.
Okay.
The family planning is one, and then we have abstinence. So I think that it's proper you open up the alternatives for.
And I don't mean to cut you, but I'll come back to you. Let me speak to Amino, who's joining us from Salaga, and then I'll come back right at you. Hello, good morning. Thanks for your call. Oh, we lost you right there. Please do call back 0302-211-69102. Dr. Saka.
Yeah, like I said, you offer the family planning and then you offer abstinence so that the child has an option, because the child in the age of adolescent has the capacity to explore. So if you don't open up so many options for the child and at the same time guide the child to choose the right one, like doctor said, the friends or the peers will influence her to make a bad choice.
Let's speak to Fatal. Good morning, Fatal. Hello? Fatal to... Okay, sure. Thank you so much for calling. Let's hear you on this.
I have a 18-year-old boy who asked me, Mama, how old were you when you got married? Or how old was it when you married Cookie? In fact, that is very easier for me. Because initially, I used to know him as a very good boy. And when he went to SS the first year, he came and told me, Mama, I have a story to tell you. He said, he doesn't like this school. I said, why? That is the lady who has been disturbing him a lot. And that they nearly kissed him. I spoke with him and then he went back to school. Only for him to come back the second year to ask me how old was I when myself and my husband got married. So how will you answer this question?
No, but what did you tell him? I'm interested.
I told him that I was at the age of 23 when I got married. But before then, I never had a guy in my life. And the father too was not the type who goes around sleeping with ladies. So the way he was brought up, if it's left with me alone, he should continue to finish his school. As for girls, they are there, beautiful ones. I know the question he has asked me, he has seen a lady and he has mind. That's why he asked me that question.
Okay. But what you told him, honestly, what you said to him, was it the truth?
Yes, it was true.
Did you feel that he was convinced?
Yeah, I thought, because when he went back to school, he told me that, Mama, the lady I told you, he was becoming too close with me and he's my friend. I've taken her off my head, so I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
I was very proud. But I hope that it's working anyway.
Yeah. I know that you're still worried, deep down. But at what age would you want your son to have a girlfriend, for instance? I mean, just a girlfriend.
Well, we Ghanaians are not like whites. When you give the child a chance to take a boy or a girl, he start having sex. They don't know that you can date just ordinary friends until you are ready. It is not with me, maybe something 25.
Okay. Okay. All right. I feel you. I've got 2 sons myself, so we'll try and find some answers for you. Don't worry. But thank you so much for sharing with us. Let's speak to Aminu now. Hello. Good morning. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning. Thank you so much for calling. Let's hear you.
I'm Gladys from Tamale.
Oh, okay. Gladys.
Yeah. I have a boy who is 13 years now this year. And he has started doing certain things that I don't like. Actually, I sat him down. And last 3 weeks, he came back from school. And I saw that the haircut that I sent him to the barber shop for them to cut for him is not the one that is on. Actually, he has changed it. And he told me that it was one of the friends in school who told him that the haircut is not nice. So they actually went in for a blade and gave him a different shape. So when he got to him, I said, Andrew, that's not what I taught you. He said, Mama, they told me I'm handsome and the haircut that they gave me is not okay, so I have to change it. And just this morning, I have a daughter who is also 11. Just this morning, the brother also gave the sister that haircut that the friends gave him, just this morning. And I said, your sister is not a boy like you. Why do you have to give her such haircut? And the girl too, she has also started doing certain things. She wants to wear short things like what Mama was saying. And sometimes when I go to their room, I'll see her using pencil. And I said, what are you doing? You are just 11. What are you rushing? You are not supposed to rush. You get there. So what Mama has said on the television has taught me a lot too.
Okay. But are they your friends?
Yeah, they are my friends. Actually, when you see me with them, maybe you think they are my brother and sister.
Okay, I like that. All right. Thank you so much for sharing, Gladys. I'll speak to Grace. We'll come back. I'll leave the issues with you. But Grace, thanks for calling. Let's hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please, I have a girl who has severe abdominal pain. And she told me that she is going for family planning because if she takes family planning, it will correct the pain. So I want to ask Madam Midwife whether it's correct.
How old is she, please?
She's 1920.
She's 1920. And she wants to get on any of the family planning methods because she thinks that will correct this abdominal pain.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
We'll try and address that for you, Grace. Thank you so much for calling. Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we start taking the issues maybe from the very top, from the very first caller who has an 18-year-old who is beginning to ask strange questions, at least to the mother.
Well, I think it's not strange. And 18 is quite grown.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a child, maybe less than 10, who asks you, where do babies come from or how do we make babies? Or if the mother is pregnant, then they would ask, how did this tummy become big and what happened? So at that age, you have to look at the child's age and explain in a way that he or she would understand. Now, I think that at that age, if the boy is asking at what age did you get married, that is okay. So you can now tell him the age that you got married and also what you have to look for in somebody that you want to marry. It is not only girls who have challenges. A young boy may also have young girls following him, especially if they see him as handsome, if he's intelligent, if he's easy to go with, if he's very kind and all that. So we as parents should not just be concerned about our female children, but our male children as well. So for him, you have to explain to him that because you are a young boy, you grow to be a man, you will be the head of the family and all that. You have to have a job to take care of your wife and your children. So you explain to him using his role. And this is what gender-based things will come in. Because it is believed that as the head of the family, and that's one too, if you are, whether you believe in God or not, that is how it is. Whether you are a Christian or not, that is how it is. So the young boy will grow to be the head. So at this age, you can have friends, as you asked. You can have friends who are your friends. And somebody will say that I have as many as 5 friends. So you know how to relate to young girls. You know how to relate to young boys without sleeping with them, without having sex with them. Then you know that this is how you can go. After all, you may have sisters and brothers at home. So you should be able to relate to the opposite sex without necessarily thinking about sleeping with them. They may be your friends. You can go to church together. You can go to the mall together. You can do all these things together. But then don't sleep with them. Okay. And that's when you learn. So it's okay for the 19-year-old to know when the mother got married. Maybe he's even interested or he likes the way the mother is relating to him or to the father. And they would use that to also learn. So I think it's a good idea.
Because you're always their first role models. They're looking up to you first before any other person. Okay, so Dr. Saka, can you handle Gladys's issue of the 13-year-old boy who went to get a new haircut in school and then decided that I want my kid sister to also have the same haircut? He's bringing foreign things into the home and changing things with it.
I think we need to understand that from age 13 to 19, within that gap, the child is growing rapidly and growing and exploring and trying to find out things, whatever things be fulfill his identity and intimacy.
Do you leave him to do that, to explore?
You guide him to explore. You don't kill the exploration. Okay. Once you kill it, you stifle the child initiative to grow, to become him or herself. So as a parent, you have to be knowledgeable and be able to impact knowledge, understanding, and insight into life in general.
Okay, so Dr. Saka, you're a man. If you took your boys to the barbering salon to have a haircut, would you tell them, ask them to choose the hairstyle, or you tell the barber to give them a particular hairstyle? What do you think? I mean, at age 13.
I think what I would do is to select 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
That the child should pick one.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I will not straight away put the child in the straight jacket that this is good for you.
Okay. Okay. What do you say? I mean, I like this. So that they don't feel that you're limiting them. You're giving them what you want.
And you know, there should also be discipline. When the mother took you to the barbering salon, I don't know whether she chose one or out of the lot, this was selected. You cannot go and do what you like. There should be discipline as well. He could have come home, whatever they said at home, he could have come home to discuss with the mother. But when I went, my friend said this. Then it is up to us as parents also to encourage them, to give them the self-confidence that they need, that self-esteem that they need. We say, wow, you look very handsome in this one. Don't mind them. So you try to get them to also accept that this is me and I look very good in this. Otherwise, if we let them do that, they would always take what their friends are saying over what we as parents are saying. But I agree with Doc that you can also ask them, which of these are they? Then he will say, oh, I like this one. No, why do you like this one? This one will not look nice on you. You see, you are so handsome that you have to do this. And again, wherever you go, your presentation would let people treat you in a certain way, the way you present yourself. So if you in the school have a haircut that is seen as for bad boys, the teachers may even now start harassing you, and that will not be good enough. So it is very important that we do that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Grace. Abdominal pains,
right.
And then go on family planning.
Yes. I believe, though she did not explain, I believe that probably it is to do with painful menstruation.
Okay.
What we call dysmenorrhea. If that is it, she has to go to the hospital and they have to examine her for why she has that pain. She didn't mention, so I'm just assuming that it may be painful menstruation. And then they will prescribe the right medication for her, which may include some hormones. And you know that the hormones, the pill, for example, is a hormone. So when she goes to the hospital and she goes through the proper exam, she should see a doctor. And the doctor will look at her, see whether it is this painful menstruation or it is something else. If it is something else, they will treat. If it is painful menstruation, they will see whether she should go on anything like that. That would be better. She should not go and buy it herself.
Okay. Do you also see a general practitioner or you go to a gynae?
Whichever hospital is close to you, you can go. If the general practitioner sees you and cannot handle it, he will then refer you, because you may not be close to a gynecologist. So go to the hospital. Even if it's a midwife who is there, whoever is there, you go, you talk about your issues. They will see whether you need to be referred, and you'll be referred appropriately. Okay. But it's very important that she goes, because if it is something that will affect her reproduction, then she would have the necessary treatment, and that will save her a lot of time and a lot of complications in future.
Okay. So, you know, when your young children starts the conversation of at what age did you get pregnant, at what age did you meet my dad, and that kind of thing, do you then begin to, for instance, this 18-year-old boy, give him a condom just in case, because you may never know? For the young girl, do you then begin to also tell her about family planning? What do you say?
I don't think that you should give a condom. No. I believe it is time for you now to explain as best as you can. And that is why we are also there. As healthcare providers, people are not making use of us in that regard.
I'll come because I have a follow-up on that. Let me speak to Amino. I'll come back to you. Hello, good morning. Thanks for calling. Let's hear you.
Okay, I mean, yeah. But I want to, Madam Dr. Linda said, we should get time for their children. And I would like to say it's not all that much time for the children, because I was having a certain friend. The guy is attending a nursing training, and the parents, they want her to, complete. So they try their best to buy her a motorbike to ride to it. So all of the sudden, once she's even going to school, they normally offer her, let me say, 50 cedi every blessing be 50 cedi, and with the motorbike. It is in another way to guide them from what? I mean, probably the chance of attending nursing training. So, by doing that, this guy, once he close, when she's a day student, she normally comes. Once she comes, that you bring somewhere. Once she comes, before you get home, get you to evening around 8 going. Then the parents ask, where have you been since you closed? They say, oh, we are doing stages. So before they realize, this guy become, pregnant.
Okay.
So you just imagine the way the parents are rich and they are trying to support you. By trying to buy motorbike, giving you 50 cedi a day, by all of the side, you wouldn't like to pay to them. So you went way by doing all these things. I don't believe that Mama, as Mother Linda said, we should get time for that. It's the system that we, the children, we found ourselves. And me sitting like this, I'm just from poor home. So if I'm to having such parents, they'll guide me between. I have to also sit down, listen to them, so that I'll go through whatever they ask me to do. Hereby, then I'll be able to become somebody relevant in future.
I get you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this one. I guess it's the bit about sometimes no matter what you do, every individual has got a mind, whether a child or adult. So if they've decided that this is what I want to do, irrespective of what you tell them, that's what they will do anyway.
Yeah, that is true. But if I got it right, they have bought a motorbike for, it's a young lady, right?
Yes.
And then they give her money. They are not all that we need. You see, emotions cannot be replaced with things. We have people who have everything, but they take things that belong to other people. So the emotional part of it, maybe all they ask is school, this, but she may not be feeling that kind of emotional support that she needs. So somebody somewhere is giving her that. The first day she comes home late, let her understand, even riding a motorbike in the night may be a problem. So it is a complete thing. It is not just one side. But as you said, some people too, it doesn't matter what you do. But even then, that is why we are Christians, we are Muslims, we are whatever. You cannot bring up a child without adding your own life as an example, and also the Bible for us who are Christians, to let them know that there is a kind of life, and if you go this way, this is where you will end. For somebody who is in nursing school, if you become pregnant, you are blocking your own future. So we have to let them know it is a complete thing that they have to know.
Sure. Let me speak to the very last person we'll talk to on the phone on this one. Ahmed, good morning and thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to agree with the doctor. I think all what she said is true about our children who need to educate them in terms of sex. Nowadays, children parents are not doing enough to really sit down with their children and teach them about these things, and they go on doing unnecessary things. So it's about time parents to do a lot to really help their children. And one thing again, I want to ask the doctor about. I have a friend who is more like anytime he's a lady. He's like this kind of addicted person. Any lady wants to have.
We're not getting. I'm not getting you because you're going down. He likes to chase girls, any kind of girl.
Yes. Wants to have sex. I don't know whether is it some sort of sickness or is it like.
Okay, I get you, Ahmed. Thank you. Very, very interesting question he's asking. He has a friend who likes to chase girls. I mean, any kind of girl, anything that looks like a girl. So he's asking, maybe Dr. Saka, is it sickness and addiction or what?
It can be a combination of both, because this is a pure socialization issue. First, we have to understand that a youth or a child is under so many influences. The parent can do the best for the child in the house, but the child goes to school and finds a good company of friends. And an adolescent listens more to friends than to parents, all things being equal. So we as parents have to also know the friends of our children.
Sure.
Bring them home, know the type of guys they are hanging out there with, know where they are coming from, what their interests are. In fact, it demands a whole family life education for the parent and for the children collectively.
All right.
If you screw up in your socialization values and beliefs, this is the way you end. And once you get into it, it calls for more. And once an elderly figure doesn't come into your life to correct you, then you are on the slippery road. You may get infection, HIV/AIDS, you can get into trouble, you can use your tuition fees to spread those girls and all that it goes. So it's a complex set of factors that can predispose a young guy to take that serious behavior.
Is there, once there's a sickness bit, can you take some drag to stop yourself from chasing girls?
No, I think for some of them, it is just a way of feeling that they are also accepted.
Yeah.
Some of them may be using that to fill a void in their lives. Some of them may be doing that to just cover up for something. Some of them may be using that to show a certain girl who jilted them, or girls who jilted them, that, look, if you don't want me, I can get any girl. So there are so many reasons, and for some of them, it is just that they are not thinking. Because if you are thinking, what are you doing? Pardon me, but sex is with a female, is the female organ, the vagina, it's still the vagina, whether it is in one girl or the other. So what are you looking for? The pleasure with one may be different from the other, but think about yourself. Some people have died whilst having sex. You can have all sorts of things happening to you, and your life, if it is precious to you, you will not move from one person to the other. And you never know, it is not just about HIV. We have other diseases that you can contract. And when you go home, after you have done all that, do you feel well? So there might be a void. And I believe that that is where you need to look at yourself, do an introspection to see whether you are okay. Because anybody in his or her right mind will not be doing things that will end in his or her own life. Yes.
All right, with that beautifully said.
The void issue comes with searching for identity. So if the parent, the educators, the church, whoever you are connected with, don't help you to find the right identity, who you are as a person and why you are in life to achieve, then the vacuum will be created.
And you will keep searching, and trying to satisfy yourself
with all risky behaviors.
Okay. Listen, you've been so helpful. I thank you so much for your time. But this is definitely to be continued. I know there are so many conversations still for us to have. But for this morning, thank you so much for your time. Dr. Linda Vanutu and Dr. Saka, we'll meet again. All right.
Thank you.
Stay with us. You're still watching the AM show.